Super Hornets that you just saw get airborne are climbing up to height to meet with call sign Dragon, which is a KC-30 tanker, an essential part of the Royal Australian Air Force based at RAAF Base Amberley.
Cobra is about to take off. Give them a wave as they fly past and show them that you're right behind them with your Australian Defence Force. E-7A Wedgetail. He's a mission commander.
I am indeed, yeah, thanks. So I'm a mission commander. In other words, so the Wedgetail basically operates at high level and looks after the battle space. Just when we see the F-35 complete their next pass, we should hopefully see the Wedgetail follow the tail. Can see pretty much everything. It builds a recognized air and surface picture. The crew is 2 pilots and 10 mission crew down the back of the aeroplane. Pilots like to think that they are in charge, but in fact it's the mission crew that direct everything that happens on this aeroplane. I try to keep that fairly subtle, though I don't tell them too much. I can imagine. If you would like more information about the Wedgetail, then air battle managers operate the back of the aeroplane. It takes about 2 years to be able to operate all of the mission systems down the back, and it's extremely technical, using advanced sensors. So in addition to the radar, there is a plethora of communications on the aeroplane. We also have an electronic surveillance measures piece of equipment which sucks in all of the RF or reflected energy and can identify the various pictures from that.
As we said, the Wedgetail would ordinarily be sitting at 30,000 feet, and it would be working with the other crews, particularly with the Super Hornet, the F-35, the Poseidon, actually any aircraft that are currently flying in the circuit and part of the operation.
The real important thing nowadays is that nobody wants to work on your own. We work as part of a coalition, so in any operation, in any exercise, any sort of deployment, we really want to be working with other nations to process any sort of event. The Wedgetail provides that battle management capability well above everybody else. The range is over 400 kilometers. From the radar, so essentially if you're looking from Melbourne, you can pretty much see the east coast of Australia. The Northrop Grumman radar, it has no moving parts, unlike the previous AEW platform of choice, which was the E3 Sentry. Instead of rotating, the actual beam comes out of the side of the aeroplane and then is electronically moved. Provides a 360-degree radar coverage for long-range surveillance radar, secondary radar, and tactical strategic voice, together with data communication systems, including Link 16, provide airborne early warning and control. You'll see it now. Approach from the right, good opportunity to get a photograph. All the lights on. This is the Wedgetail. Operation Opera over Iraq and Syria. That was from 2014 to 2020. From the right now, an airplane refueling capability in any operation, it would be extremely difficult to really work and prove any success. KC-30 tanker transport aircraft is training its wingtip houses on its next pass.
The Royal Australian Air Force.
See that it's got its weapons bay open there. This aircraft, the roles of this aircraft include anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare, maritime surveillance, and search and rescue. Beautiful aeroplane operated by the United States Navy and ourselves and various other air forces around the world.
Now, one of the careers you can actually take part in on the P-8A Poseidon and of course on the E-7 Wedgetail is an electronics analyst who operate the sophisticated electronic surveillance equipment, both as we said on the Poseidon and the Wedgetail. They conduct above and below surface warfare, work with other government agencies to detect illegal activities, and also those search and rescue missions that we did discuss. So you might be in the back at dusk and you'll be flying at 200 feet over the Indian Ocean on a Poseidon. You might see a small dot on your screen. Will it be an enemy submarine? Will it be a school of fish? Will it be a false, a piece of
Target.
Target, that's it, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, the AAA works with the rest of the crew on board and other aircraft all working together, and they could be waiting on your analysis. So it will direct aircraft to investigate and use the electro-optics to assist in the classification. So that's one of the careers you can take part in on the P-8 Poseidon. If you are interested in being an airborne electronics analyst, all you need to do is go to defencejobs.gov.au or even pop into the Defence Force stand right here at the Australian International Airshow.
One of the things about most of our aircraft is, most of the larger aircraft now, is they're equipped with self-protection measures, including chaff and flares. The E-7 also has a thing called a layoka, which is essentially a laser.
And the Mark 54 anti-submarine torpedo.
Seahawk is Australia's next generation forms a very important part of its operations for years to come. There are 24 of these currently with the Navy. They originate by Sikorsky Lockheed Martin from the USA, and we ordered a further 12 with expected delivery in 2025 through to 2026. It's going to perform a couple of wingovers, which are interesting for a helicopter, I would think. A range of 245 miles, and our operation through 120 knots. Its primary purpose is to augment and assist the P-8 in identifying targets both on the surface and subsurface.
And having the Navy as part of the ADF showcase here today just shows how well we work with our partners, both from the Army and the Navy, and of course our coalition partners from around the world, a lot of who you'll see displaying aircraft here at the Australian International Airshow this weekend.
You'll see the aircraft come into a hover very shortly, just in front of you. It's going to do another wing over, and then it will deploy. When it comes to a stop, what it calls is dipper, which is essentially a microphone that it deploys underwater to detect. The Navy was the first international navy to select the MH-60R helicopter, and the Fleet Air Arm's 725 and 816 squadrons based at Naura have accumulated more than 30,000 flight hours embarked on frigates, destroyers and supply ships.
Now, while the primary missions of the Romeo helicopter are anti-submarine warfare and anti-surface warfare, they're also capable of their secondary missions, including search and rescue, logistics support, personnel transport and medical evacuation as well. And we'll have the capacity to provide 8 warships with a combat helicopter in the Romeo at the same time, including Anzac-class frigates and the new anti-warfare destroyers.
To show you that the aircraft can carry out an insertion and extraction of troops and vehicles with less than 5 minutes time on the ground on a short runway as short as 2,000 feet or 600 meters and as narrow as 15 meters.
As the Hercules passes the front of the air show here, it really does showcase how beautiful the aircraft is as it flies past. Now, of course, the Air Mobility Group within the Royal Australian Air Force also operates the heavy lift, being the C-17 Globemaster, and then the C-130J Spartan, which is the smaller aircraft. They can also move into prepared and unprepared strips. And the great thing about the Hercules, we've deployed on many exercises around the world, most recently also taking part in exercise Christmas Drop. Operation Christmas Drop takes place out of Guam with our partners from the United States Air Force and, of course, our friends from Japan as they deliver food and other supplies around the islands of the Pacific.
Upgrades to the Charlie 130 have enhanced communications and information sharing. So this is also equipped with Link 16 and therefore as part of the network-centric capability within the whole of the ADF, it is able to gain situational awareness. It also has an improved aircraft endurance during battle. These aircraft will carry out tactical landings and takeoffs, as I mentioned earlier, in a very short space of time. It can carry up to 128 passengers or 8 pallets of cargo, or a mixture of both. It has been deployed and worked since 1999 when they were delivered and 2001 when the last delivery took place. So all these aircraft are part of a fleet of 12 which are based at RAAF Base Richmond by number 37 Squadron.
This will be a great opportunity to get your cameras out and take some photos and video of the C-130J Hercules coming in for a short landing. It will deploy some troops as the ramp comes down, who will then move out, being Air Force security forces, and secure the airfield.
Charlie 130 is also equipped with defensive aids, including flares, which it would deploy as it approaches any airfield and do the same as it departs, just in case of, to try and defeat any potential threats. I was asked a few days ago what the little bump was just above the fuselage there, and that's one of the improvements as the aircraft has been developed in service to give you essentially a wideband satellite communication capability.
You'll just see how short a landing the Hercules needs. The ramp already starting to come down. And in just a moment, you'll see Royal Australian Air Force security forces moving out the back to secure the airfield. And what they do is they ensure the security of air bases and the safety of people as a crucial part of the Air Force. Air Force security makes sure our working environment is safe and secure. now to take a variety of critical security functions in support of air operations, including protective security, emergency response for incidents and accidents, detaining and prisoner of war handling, protective security surveys and reviews, security risk management and threat assessment. You'll see them moving out, securing the airfield right now. Ladies and gentlemen, as they move out, give them a big round of applause. Now, as you can see at the back of the ramp, you will see the loadmaster lying down. He's not taking a rest. The Hercules is about to reverse up. And what the loadmaster is doing right there, he's checking for foreign object debris on the runway. So we call that fog, and making sure his aircrew up the front of the aircraft knows that behind the aircraft is clear so they can reverse.
Whilst the loadmaster will be concentrating quite heavily, you can give him a wave. You just try not to distract him right at this point. Yumi in the flight deck will be preparing now to change the pitch of all the aircraft's engines, get the propellers very shortly to a gauge forward thrust.
Now you might be wondering about the loadmaster and how he stays safe when the aircraft might be moving and they have to put the ramp down. He will be wearing a harness which will have a strap straight to the aircraft, so he is completely safe with his operating environment.
Charlie 130 has been used extensively in both Afghanistan and throughout the Middle East over the last 20 years. As you can see, he's manoeuvred quite a long way down the runway now. Very shortly should start to do a departure. Again, a tactical departure, which may involve pushing out some flares. On today's aircraft, we've got a pilot, a co-pilot, and a loadmaster. They are capable of a range of just under 7,000 kilometers with no payload on board, but obviously that is reduced depending on what is on board. To insert some troops without touching the ground, then it can carry up to 74 paratroops. In addition, if it's required, you can get 97 stretch patients, 2 medical attendants on board, or 20,000 kilos of cargo.
Make sure to give them a wave as they leave the Australian International Airshow today.
Now, all of these capabilities are part of what was called Project Jericho. Exit. Tell us all about it.
Well, as I said before, Plan Jericho is our Air Force transformation across every aspect of what we do. We really are moving into the
deconflicting the Super Hornets at the front at the moment. Providing that overwatch the F-35. And Carnage will commit and then push in for each back. As we move into the future, we've also got a thing called a Triton. Triton is an unmanned aerial vehicle.
And the great news we had this weekend here at the Australian International Airshow, we had an announcement from the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence, the Honourable Richard Marles MP, that Number 9 Squadron will be reformed, operating the MQ-4 Triton after 34 years. It will be based at RAAF Base Edinburgh, just near Adelaide. Of course, the Triton is the unmanned aerial system. Here they come again. In comes the Super Hornet.
time. There is a lot of time.
Crews are some of the best trained in the world. Of course, we've got pilots, weapons systems officers, which you'll see on board the Super Hornet.
Just one phrase I have to get in each day.
I know. And you'll see directly above us, the Super Hornet still flying around. Alright, you'll see this manoeuvre recognisable from the movie Top Gun Maverick. Of course, the Super Hornet was made famous by the movie Top Gun Maverick. I personally think our air crews are way cooler than Tom Cruise.
Join the dots. When the C-130 Hercules landed and the troops got out the back to secure the airfield, joining the dots, after the airfield was secured, then these guys come in and do what they do, wreak havoc. Exciting phase of the Australian International Airshow very shortly. Our guests from the United States of America with the F-22A Raptor. That is coming up very soon, within minutes in fact. We have the jet glider coming up. We have the catwalk coming up.
Agreement. In short, the agreement represents a ramp-up in the United States military's presence in Australia via enhanced land cooperation, enhanced maritime cooperation, and the combined logistics.
The airshow today, and there's a whole lot more to come.
The final 747 to be manufactured has left Boeing's factory in Washington. The last
correction, the drone pilots conducting combat manoeuvres and racing inside the big surface camp. There's a lot to see. The flyers market is also up that end. You can take a brownie point with the kids on your way as you're walking around the field today. The Australia International Airshow. You're welcome in the next couple of minutes. Our American counterparts.
Well, you wanted something better, man. You wished for something new. Well, you wanted something beautiful. You wished for something true. Been looking for a reason
While today we celebrate, this airshow celebrates the Air Force's 102nd birthday, we also celebrate the alliance between our partners, the United States of America, the Air Force in America, and our own Royal Australian Air Force. Now let's go to Master Sergeant George Canty,